Hey guys, this is Kevin from The Ordinary Guys Show, coming at you with Kevin Hates Everything. This week we're going to get a little bit serious. We're also going to have a little bit of fun, so stay tuned. So I wanted to start out this week just remembering just how serious 9/11 was. I remember where I was in college. And I remember I had stayed up late the night before, as everybody does in college, and woke up to a video playing on my TV because one of my roommates had it on, of one of the Twin Towers was burning. It had just been hit by a plane. I thought at the original time of it happening that it was a movie. I talked to my roommate and said, "Hey man, what happened?" He goes, "A plane ran into the Twin Towers, or one of them." And I remember thinking, man, that's terrible. I wonder how that happened. Like, nobody at that point thought it was anything past that. And, you know, I sat there, sat down and watched it with my other roommates, and we thought, hey, you know, this is terrible. We should pray for these folks, whatnot, and figured that would be it. Unfortunately, I am one of the people that was watching live when the second plane hit. I remember when that happened, my stomach sunk, and it's strange to say, but I was only 17 at the time, and I had no responsibility in life, and really I knew nothing about life at that point. But that feeling has transcended me to the age now, I'm 35, of a feeling I've only felt in the worst times of my life. I never thought I could be connected to somebody that I've never known until I saw that second plane hit. My stomach sunk, terrible feeling. I bring all this up, and everybody knows the whole story, and probably half of you saw the same thing I did, because what happened afterward was truly what America was about. We were united. There was no races of any type. Every religion came together. No one was jockeying for position on who was the best. We were Americans. And in that point in time, all we cared about was surviving as a nation and coming together. But we're at a trying time right now. We're at a time where people have divided themselves into a select number of groups. It's being labeled as right-wing, left-wing, but it's deeper than that. And I don't think it's caused by us, and I don't think it's caused by one person. I think that as a whole, our society, since that day, has forgotten that we're all Americans and that we're all in this together. And that we need to put down our races and our religions and our thoughts. You know, get back to the days when we held and cried with our brethren. And we didn't even know them. I remember sitting in a church. I went to a Christian college. And I remember they canceled school that day. A lot of the kids that went to my school, their parents worked in those trade centers. And obviously a very sad situation, especially to watch somebody that knew their parent was in that building, was not sure if they were going to be okay or not. I remember sitting in that church next to people I had never met a day in my life. In fact, the friends I normally sat with were not there, because when this happened, pretty much everybody was scattered around, not doing their typical, you know, I got out of class, so I'm going to go hang out with my friends thing. I quickly made friends with everybody I was with because we had one common thing, and that is we came together as Americans for Americans, and we grieved together. It's crazy to think that it took something of that magnitude to bring us all together like that. And I would hope that it doesn't ever have to take something like that again. I'm as guilty as anybody else. I sit here and argue with people and bicker back and forth about politics left and right. And if you follow my Facebook, you'll know that's true. But one thing I like to try to establish, and I would hope that other people understand, is that even though I don't agree with you, doesn't mean I don't care about you. And even if we're going back and forth in what I would like to think is playful banter on Facebook about politics, or whether the Dolphins suck or not, I hope that it is more or less just that, playful banter. But when you cross that line and it becomes a thing that angers you, I think that we need to step back and realize what's important. And I thought about it today while I was driving. What could cause us to step back and really take a look at ourselves and really benefit as a nation? And I tried to think of, well, what has changed since then that has led us down this path? And what I think it is, honestly, is I think it's our social interactions on Facebook and Twitter and whatever platform you want to say. I don't think these options are bad, but I think that it opens a lot of people up to say a lot of things that they wouldn't because they're not looking in that person's eyes. I think a lot of times people say things in the moment that if they were sitting there looking at that person and saw them as a human and not as words on a screen, they would reflect very quickly and think, this person is somebody's son or daughter, or, you know, this is somebody's friend. And they would look into themselves and probably most likely not say those things. Now, there's always going to be people that don't care about these types of situations and are going to be jerks no matter what. And I can't say that I haven't done things like this either. I'm not throwing the first stone at anybody. I'm just saying I had some time to reflect today. And I think as a society, we really need to try to get a hold of ourselves and realize what's important. And it's not bashing each other. It's not fighting over whether you voted for Trump or against Trump. It's not whether you voted for Hillary or against Hillary. And we need to separate ourselves from what is causing all this consternation. I have a feeling that the common American citizen agrees with me. And though we may not agree on everything, I think in the whole goal of things, whether you're fighting for the left side, the right side, the center, or whatever it is you're fighting for, you are truly deeply fighting for what you believe is right. But remember that when you're fighting for it. You're fighting for the right of the other person that you're putting down. Whether they believe in what you believe in or not, they are fighting for what they believe is right as well. So respect it and do better and be Americans again. So let's get back to Kevin Hates Everything like we're used to having, and let's get into me griping about something. So anyways, this last week, I ran into a problem with my personal cell phone company, Verizon Wireless. I don't know what happened to Verizon. And I say that because the last couple of times I've had to deal with them, they have been atrocious. I'm going to just get right into it. My mother drops her phone all the time. I have replaced her screen 3 times, and now the phone, the back button wasn't working anymore. So I pretty much said, Mom, we can't keep fixing this thing. It's, 3-4 years old anyways. It's lasted its life. It's done. It's time for a replacement. So I looked up phones for her, and I ran into what's called the Samsung J7. It is a basic model Samsung phone that is perfect for my mother. It's also cheap, which is nice. Outright, I think it's like $230. So I send my mother to the Verizon store and tell her, hey, ask for this phone, buy it outright, bring it back, we'll set it up. My mother gets there, goes to buy the phone, and long story short, just the customer service is terrible. The representative there, when my mother asked, hey, if I buy this phone, can I transfer all of my numbers and my messages and pictures from this phone? Can you guys take care of that for me? Can you transfer it from this LG G5, which is Android, to this Samsung J7, which is Android as well? The answer to that, by the way, is yes. Yes, you most certainly can, and it's very easy to do. And especially the Verizon store, because they have everything needed to do it. Their service representative said this: we can't do that, it is against the law. That's actually what they said. I'm not making this up. Why on God's green earth would that ever be against the law? Proceeds to hand my mother a piece of paper with instructions on it that explain how to use the transfer app from one phone to the other. Okay, first off, that's rude. The whole reason my mother drove to the Verizon store was because I was not available to do this for her, and she was going to have somebody there that supposedly works in customer service take care of her phone and help her. Evidently, Tim wasn't able to help her, didn't feel like helping her, or I couldn't tell you what else. But I can tell you one thing, he's a liar, and they are allowed to do it. So, My mother goes, well, I'm not very good with this stuff. Are you sure you can't help out? You know, giving him the benefit of the doubt, you know, saying, you know, everybody has a bad day. I get that. And he responded with this, and I laugh because it is this crazy. He goes, well, you said you're an English teacher, right? You can read that and walk yourself through it. Are you kidding me? You are an English teacher? You can read it and walk your way through it? Tim? Tim? You, my friend, do not need a job. And it doesn't have to just do with my mother, because if this was somebody I didn't even know, Tim, you need to do your job. And it gets worse. And it always does, doesn't it? I feel like, you know, with the Buffalo Wild Wings story, that it couldn't get worse, but it kept getting worse. And now we're at Verizon and it keeps getting worse. So now my mother leaves and Tim supposedly could not print off a receipt. I'm sorry I'm getting worked up, but this is crazy. She gets into the car. He emails the receipt. So obviously that takes a second or two normally. My mom figures, okay, I paid the amount of money. No big deal. I'm going to get in the car, right? And then she starts thinking, if the phone is this much and I paid this much, why? It's not adding up. So she gets the email, and come to find out, Tim put a $10 insurance policy on it. Not only did Tim not ask if we wanted the insurance policy, but I don't know if you know this, Verizon Wireless has different tiers of insurance policies. The highest tier is the $10 one. The lower tier, which depends on your rate of phone, which in this case is about $5, is the lowest tier. The only difference between the two, just to let you know, is one is support over the phone. They'll help you with external devices, such like this. If you have any trouble, it's like a coach. The smaller one will replace your phone screen if you drop it, water damage, the typical insurance. It's most likely the one you want, and you're ending up with something you don't want so that Verizon can make some more money off you. And once they have you tied in by the time you see your first bill 30 days later, it's too late to change. That's actually the rules, and I'm not making any of this up. So when they put you on this plan, if you don't know you're on it and you want to back yourself off, so to speak, to the lower plan, after 30 days you're not eligible. So that's the trick they have going. So it gets even better than this. So Tim, who would not help my mother change her phone numbers over or pictures or just basic stuff, then proceeded to put a $30 activation fee on my mother's account. Okay. Tim. Hey, Tim. Tim. Putting a $30 activation charge on somebody's account that you did not activate? Tim, are you crazy? The audacity of this guy. So I end up talking to Verizon after the fact because my mom calls me and says, hey Kev, just want to let you know this is what happened. Goes through the whole story with me. I'm obviously not happy. I don't feel like talking to Tim because obviously he doesn't have any clue what's going on. So I call up Verizon Direct. Now, I do have to say that they were great. They took off the $30 activation fee. They also knocked off the $10 in insurance, gave me a bill credit, and helped me out. They also told me that it is insane that Tim would have said that they are not allowed to legally move the contacts or anything like that over. Instead of going to the store direct, they contacted the district manager, and supposedly I was going to get a call back from him. Well, that was Saturday. It is now Wednesday. I think I might make a follow-up video of me giving that district manager a call. I'm still trying to figure out whether I want to do that or not. I might give him a little more time. Maybe he's been off a couple days, or she. So, in moving forward, we have yet another large business that is not taking care of their customers correctly. And I feel like lately I am fighting the good fight for the common, I guess you could say, shopper. Yeah. I am your light in the darkness. So anyways, that's Kevin Hates for this week. Make sure, please, and like and subscribe. We're trying to gain some subscribers so that way we can grow our channel. Without you guys, we can't make it, so we appreciate you guys. Also, you can see us at www.ordinaryguyshow.com, and hopefully you have a great week. And until next time, have a good one.